Have you ever noticed that sometimes the smartest people make the dumbest choices? The kind of mistakes that make you think, how could they not see that coming? They have the logic, the education, the experience, yet one small decision sends everything crashing down. But here's the twist. It's not stupidity. It's something far more dangerous, something living inside your own head right now. A hidden force that quietly whispers, "You're right. Keep going." It rewards you with confidence, even when you're heading straight toward a mistake. It's called the mind's illusion of certainty, and it fools the best of us. CEOs, scientists, even psychologists who study the brain fall into its trap. Because your brain doesn't want the truth. It wants comfort. It wants control. So the next time you feel absolutely sure about something, remember, your mind might be lying to you. And in the next few minutes, you're about to see how this invisible trick works, and why even the most brilliant minds never see it coming. In this video, we're going deep inside the human brain to uncover the silent psychological traps that make intelligent people act irrationally. You'll learn about the hidden programming that shapes every decision you make, the shortcuts your brain takes without permission, and how those shortcuts turn into the biggest regrets of your life. We'll expose the invisible biases, like confirmation bias, the overconfidence effect, and the illusion of control, that make smart people blind to their own mistakes. And most importantly, you'll discover how to break free from them before they break you. Because once you understand how your mind deceives you, you'll start seeing patterns others can't. You'll make decisions that seem lucky to everyone else. But deep down, you'll know it's not luck. It's awareness. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why smart people make dumb decisions. You'll understand your own brain like never before. So sit back, open your mind, and let's dive into the hidden psychology that controls your choices and your life. Point 1. The hidden enemy, cognitive bias. Your brain loves shortcuts. It hates uncertainty. And to protect you from the stress of doubt, it secretly builds illusions, tiny mental tricks that make you feel safe, certain, and in control. Psychologists call them cognitive biases, but you can think of them as invisible filters between you and reality. They don't just change what you see, they change how you think. Imagine standing in front of a mirror that doesn't show your true reflection. It bends the image just a little, enough to make you believe everything is fine. That's what your brain does every single day. It smooths out confusion, fills the gaps, and hides the cracks in your logic, just to protect your ego. Because your mind's number one mission isn't truth, it's comfort. When you argue with someone and feel absolutely sure you're right, that's not logic speaking. That's confirmation bias whispering in your ear. It pushes you to notice every fact that agrees with your opinion and quietly delete everything that doesn't. You scroll through posts that match your beliefs, you remember moments that make you look smart, and you ignore the evidence that might make you wrong. Your brain isn't lying out of malice, it's lying out of love for your own self-image. Here's the trap. The smarter you are, the stronger this illusion becomes. Intelligent people don't escape bias, they weaponize it. They use their cleverness to justify mistakes, to defend bad ideas with perfect reasoning. It's like building a fortress out of logic, beautiful, strong, and completely wrong. The more brilliant your mind, the more creative your excuses become. Think of the investor who refuses to sell a failing stock because it'll bounce back. Or the doctor who ignores new research because I've done this for years. Or you, convincing yourself that one more late night won't hurt your health. In each case, the mind is running an ancient survival script. Protect my certainty, no matter what. But certainty is a drug. It feels powerful, warm, and safe. Every time you cling to a belief that flatters you, your brain releases a hit of dopamine, the chemical reward for being right. And that rush keeps you trapped. You chase that feeling again and again until you mistake it for truth. So the real enemy isn't ignorance, it's illusion. The mind's need to feel right blinds you to the chance of being right. Cognitive bias doesn't shout. It whispers softly enough that you never question it. That's why even the most intelligent people fall for the simplest lies, the ones they tell themselves. And once you understand this hidden enemy, you'll start to see it everywhere. In politics, relationships, work, and even your own daily thoughts. That moment of awareness, that's the first crack in the illusion. And through that crack, truth begins to shine. Point 2, the overconfidence trap. Confidence feels good, doesn't it? That deep sense that you know what you're doing, that you've got it all figured out. It's one of the most addictive emotions the human brain can experience. But here's the cruel twist. The same feeling that gives you power can also make you blind. The smarter you are, the more dangerous this trap becomes. See, intelligence doesn't protect you from mistakes. It just gives your brain better tools to justify them. You become an expert at proving yourself right, even when you're completely wrong. It's not arrogance, it's biology. Your brain rewards certainty with a burst of dopamine, that warm little signal that says, "Good job, you're right." And just like any other reward, you start craving it. Every time you make a confident prediction and it turns out okay, that reward system gets stronger. Your brain learns confidence equals success. But what happens when that confidence meets reality? You stop questioning yourself. You stop listening. You stop seeing the small signs that something might be wrong. And that's when the smartest people fall the hardest. Think about the Titanic, the unsinkable ship. The designers were geniuses, but their belief in their own brilliance blinded them. They didn't see the icebergs because they didn't believe icebergs could hurt them. That's the overconfidence trap. When your belief in yourself grows louder than the facts around you, your mind stops observing and starts assuming. It's the investor who keeps holding on because I can't be wrong. The leader who refuses advice because I know better. The student who doesn't study because I've done this before. In each case, the brain builds a wall made of pride and seals it with certainty. But here's what makes this trap truly dangerous. Confidence and competence feel exactly the same. Your body can't tell the difference between "I know this for sure" and "I just believe this strongly." Both trigger the same chemistry, the same certainty, the same calm. And that's why overconfidence sneaks in silently. You never see it coming. When you're absolutely sure you're right, you stop learning. You stop being curious. And curiosity is the only thing that keeps intelligence alive. That's why the smartest people often make the dumbest mistakes. They stop questioning themselves because they think they've already found the answers. But awareness changes everything. The moment you realize your brain can lie to you, that your feelings of certainty might just be chemicals, not truth, you regain power. True intelligence isn't about always being right. It's about being brave enough to say, "I might be wrong." And in that simple sentence lies something more powerful than knowledge: wisdom. Point 3, feeling right versus being right. There's a strange moment that happens inside your mind when you feel right. It's warm, satisfying, almost electric. You don't just think you're right, you know it. That feeling is so powerful, it can silence every doubt and blind you to every warning sign. But here's the truth. Feeling right and being right are not the same thing. Your brain doesn't care about truth. It cares about comfort. And when it finds a belief, an idea, or a memory that feels good, it clings to it like oxygen. It gives you that rush of certainty, that quiet pride in your chest that says, "I've got this figured out." But what you're really feeling isn't accuracy. It's familiarity. The more often you repeat a thought, the more real it feels, even if it's completely false. That's the illusion of truth effect. You've probably seen it in others. Someone repeats the same opinion so many times that it becomes unshakable. But what most people don't realize is that this happens inside your mind every single day. Every time you replay a justification, every time you explain your decision to yourself, every time you choose comfort over correction, you're programming your own brain to believe your version of reality. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I just know I'm right," only to later realize you weren't even close? Maybe it was a relationship you defended, a job you thought was perfect, or a belief you swore was true. In that moment, you didn't need proof. You had feeling, and that feeling overpowered logic. That's the cruel trick of the brain. It rewards confidence, not correctness. It hands out dopamine for conviction, not accuracy. So when something feels true, your brain stamps it with emotional approval. and that's enough to convince you it is true. It's like your mind forges its own certificate of authenticity, even when the evidence says otherwise. This is why people hold on to lies, toxic habits, and broken systems, not because they're blind, but because those beliefs feel right. The emotion becomes proof, and the smarter the person, the more detailed their explanations become. Intelligence becomes a tool for emotional comfort, a defense mechanism that hides the fear of being wrong. But here's the twist. The moment you start questioning your own certainty, something powerful happens. You wake up. You start noticing how often your brain substitutes "I feel right" for "I know I'm right." And that tiny space between feeling and fact, that's where awareness lives. That's where growth begins. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I just know," pause. Ask yourself, do I know, or do I feel like I know? That small question breaks the illusion. It reminds your brain the truth isn't a feeling. It's something earned through reflection and humility. Real intelligence isn't about how strongly you believe something. It's about how willing you are to question it, because only the brave dare to doubt themselves, and that's where wisdom truly starts. Point 4. The escape. Awareness over intelligence. So now that you know your brain lies, bends reality, and builds illusions just to make you feel right, what's the escape? How do you stop being fooled by your own mind? The answer isn't more intelligence. It's awareness. Because intelligence makes you powerful, but awareness makes you free. Awareness is like turning on a light in a dark room. The monsters don't disappear. You just finally see where they're standing. It doesn't stop your biases from existing, but it gives you the power to notice them before they take control. And that single act, noticing, changes everything. When you start observing your own thoughts instead of reacting to them, your brain begins to slow down. It hates slowing down because thinking deeply burns energy. That's why most people rush decisions, not because they're confident, but because they're tired. But when you force your mind to pause, even for a second, you interrupt the automatic patterns that keep you stuck. You stop being a prisoner of impulse, and you become the observer of your own programming. Here's something most people never realize. Awareness and intelligence don't live in the same place. Intelligence wants to solve problems. Awareness wants to understand them. Intelligence says, "I'm right." Awareness asks, "Could I be wrong?" And that question, that humble, quiet, courageous question, is what separates the wise from the merely smart. Let's make this real. Think of the moments when you almost made a choice you'd regret. Sending that angry message, trusting the wrong person, taking a risk that felt right but wasn't. What stopped you? It wasn't logic. It was awareness. That faint inner voice whispering, "Wait, breathe, look again." That voice is your mind trying to save you from itself. See, awareness doesn't shout. It observes. It's that instant when you realize, maybe this isn't about them. Maybe it's about how I'm thinking. It's when you notice your emotions shaping your logic. It's when you realize that your certainty is just a story your brain keeps telling because it's scared of being wrong. And the more you practice awareness, the less power those hidden biases have. You start catching them in real time. The defensiveness in your tone, the rush to justify, the craving to win the argument. You begin to laugh at your own mental tricks. And that's when you truly start evolving. Because awareness doesn't remove your flaws. It turns them into mirrors. It makes you conscious of your own psychology. And once you see how your mind works, you can't unsee it. That's the real escape. Not becoming smarter than everyone else, but becoming more awake than you were yesterday. So next time you feel completely sure about something, a belief, an opinion, a decision, stop. That moment of doubt, it's not weakness. It's your mind's alarm system trying to save you from its own bias. If this made you rethink how your brain actually works, hit subscribe and join Hidden Mind Lab. Here, we uncover the secret psychology behind your everyday choices, so you can understand your mind before it controls you.